Well, it's a beautiful day today. Sun's out, nice cool breeze. Just had my chemo treatment Monday, still hooked up to it actually, and feeling pretty good. But I thought it would be nice to continue some thoughts from my sermon on Sunday. At church, I talked about how Jehoram took over as king after Jehoshaphat died. And today I want to look at what happened after. Unlike Jehoshaphat, Jehoram was pretty evil and did a lot of really messed up things. Not surprising, given that the first thing he does when he gets power is kill off his own siblings. So, just to set the stage here, the time is around 850 BC or so. The Israelites are split into two nations, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. In the northern kingdom, you have Ahab and Jezebel, two of the most evil people in the entire Bible, and they're in charge. In the south, you have Jehoshaphat, really good, righteous king. But for whatever reason, he desires to have an alliance with Ahab and Jezebel, and has his son Jehoram marry their daughter Athaliah. After Jehoshaphat dies and Jehoram and Athaliah take over, they end up being more like Ahab and Jezebel than Jehoshaphat, and start doing a lot of pretty evil things. The end result was the southern kingdom getting weaker, enemy nations starting attacking them and stealing stuff, and in the end, almost all of Jehoram's kids are killed, and Jehoram dies of a very painful illness. 2 Chronicles 21:20 says he died to no one's regret, which is just a sad ending. Nobody was sad that he was gone. All that's left is his youngest son, Ahaziah, who takes over as king at the age of 22. He kept up this alliance with Ahab's son Joram, who would have been his uncle. He didn't even last a year as king before he got himself killed. That's when things really started looking bad. As soon as Ahaziah gets himself killed, Athaliah makes a move for power and tries to claim the nation for herself. She starts killing off everyone who could possibly have some claim to the throne, all of her own family members, even her own grandchildren, with the goal of setting herself up as queen. And she almost succeeds. The line of David was almost completely wiped out, except for one. You see, Jehoram and Athaliah also had a daughter, Jehosheba, and she didn't follow in their footsteps. She, instead, chooses the path of righteousness, despite the evil of her parents. She's actually married to the high priest Jehoiada, and they're going to do what they can to prevent the nation from being destroyed. So in a desperate move, Jehosheba grabs her newborn nephew, Ahaziah's son Joash, and runs away with him. As Athaliah continues her evil reign, Jehosheba, Jehoiada, and Joash hide away at the temple and wait for the right time to act. It can be hard to know how to act in such dangerous and hopeless situations. By going against her mother like this, Jehosheba is risking her own life. And we know Athaliah is more than willing to kill off her own family to gain power. What causes us to have hope when it looks like there's no way forward? I imagine Jehosheba might have been reminding herself of the promises God made to her ancestor, King David, centuries before her. In 2 Samuel 7:16, God promises David, "Your house and your kingdom will endure forever before me. Your throne will be established forever." It can be tough to believe God's promises when the situation looks bad, especially when it seems like it's impossible for the promise to still happen. God's promise that David's line will remain, but now there's only one little baby left after Athaliah's murder spree. How is God supposed to keep his promise now? But Jehosheba and Jehoiada continue to have faith that God will stay true to his word, and after 6 years, they find an opportunity to make a move. They gather around enough people for support that they're able to overthrow Athaliah. Actually, it wasn't that hard. She was super evil and everyone hated her. And the entire nation celebrates as 7-year-old Joash is set up as king. And what does this 7-year-old king do? Undoes all of the messed up stuff his father and grandparents had done, and with the guidance of his aunt and uncle who raised him as their own child, sets the nation back on the right course. In life, we're all going to face situations that seem hopeless from a human perspective. Whether it's school situations, work situations, medical situations, we will all face problems that are beyond our ability to handle. 6 years of a murderous psychopath running a country seems pretty hopeless. But like Jehoshaphat and Jehoiada, we need to remind ourselves of the promises God has made. Even if we don't know what to do, we don't know how to act, just holding on to the promise, thinking about it, can be enough to keep us calm and patient during uncertain times. And really, if God can use a 7-year-old to change the course of an entire country, how much more can God help us through our own situations? So this week, think about the different promises God makes in the Bible. Maybe even write a few of them down and keep them somewhere, and use them to encourage you during difficult times. That's the thought that I've got for this week. Hope you have a great week, and as always, if you ever need anything, I am one phone call away.